It's hard to say where I want to start. And there's like other questions too, because
Mm-hmm.
we kind of like the coaches sat down and we decided like, hey, let's make a list of questions to ask the athletes to try to get good answers for whatever it was that we're trying to do. So some of these are from me, some of them are from Cam, some of them from Scott, some of them from Salvador, but we'll start with some of the first ones that I have. What is your earliest memory of doing gymnastics? Do you remember like when you first started gym? Like, do you have anything that pops to mind of like one thing?
Yeah, my earliest memory of gymnastics was, I don't know how old I was. I assume I was around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And so at that time I was in Edmonton at the Capital City Gymnastics Club, and I have this really just picture in my mind where I was doing P-bars, and I'm pretty sure I was 7 years old because I know that my friend it was his 6th birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm about a year older than him, and we were just doing P-bars. That was like the earliest I could think of. After that, when I was 9, 10, a lot of competitions I can remember.
Yeah, that's cool, man, that you remember doing P-bars.
Yeah.
Way back in the day,
Yeah.
How do you find gymnastics helps you outside of doing gym?
I really find it's beneficial for every life aspect that you need to develop. It teaches you, discipline, hard work, focus. It makes you just do your best at everything, not only gymnastics, but it gives you that mindset of whatever you do, you want to do it your best. And so I find it really helped with school, with relationships, with family, with any type of problem, to be able to figure it out. So I think it's a huge, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Really big positive in your life to help you through whatever you need to get through.
It's so cool that, like, I've asked some of the guys these questions, and of course they're so much younger than you, so their answers aren't quite as eloquent as yours. But it's the older guys will say mentally it helps.
Yeah.
Whereas the younger guys are like, oh, I'm strong.
Right.
Like, I can keep up with my buddies on the playground.
That's probably so true. Yeah.
And then, once you start getting older, then you realize, like, hey, you know what? If I have a problem or if I have something that I'm trying to overcome, some obstacle that's in my life, it's not overwhelming, right? You're faced with these challenges every single day when you're in the gym, whether it's a skill or whether it's getting ready for a competition that you have to be able to prepare for. And the other things in your life are just seemingly like not as big as what you're doing here, which is kind of cool. Speaking of competitions, do you have like a specific prep that you do before you go to a competition? What does your typical competition day, or day before for that matter, kind of look like? Do you have a routine?
Yeah, I would say, for sure, a routine. Depends on kind of where I am actually in the world, and sometimes, what the situation is. Like if we're in a hotel, it's nice and comfortable. I usually try to watch a show. I love movies, so I like to watch a movie, get my head, out of the competition, kind of in my own space.
And is this like the day of or day before?
The day of. Day before, I would also watch a movie that night, because for me, the day before, the night before, the day of, as much as I can get my head out of the competition, the more comfortable I feel, the less nervous I feel.
Because unless you're kind of thinking about it,
and I just keep thinking about it and keep dwelling on it. So whatever I can do. And I used to, when I was in school, I did homework. I just made sure I was always doing something with school to get my head kind of in the right place. And as for that, I do definitely have like meals that I love to eat. Like for sure, my breakfast, I love to keep it the same. Lunch, it's hard to keep it the same when you're away, but as similar as you can. You can bring snacks that I love to bring snacks that I am very familiar with. And so I bring those with me wherever I go, and there's definitely some routine to it, but I wouldn't say it's like super specific. But it is important though. I think for someone like myself, I really feel like I need to do those types of things, especially at the stage I'm at in my career. The more I keep the same, the more comfortable I feel. There's no need to really change things too much.
Right. Kind of like the consistency of your prep is going to lead to the consistency of your competition.
Exactly.
What do you have for breakfast, out of curiosity?
I have, it varies so the base is a piece of toast, 1 egg, a slice of avocado, an orange, and a glass of milk.
Yeah.
That's like the base, the lowest. And then I would add another egg, and if I want more, I would add a piece of toast.
Yeah.
And if I want more, I'll add a little bit more avocado.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really change.
It's like a full avocado, or are you talking like half?
I would usually I do about a quarter.
Quarter, okay.
And then
I was a little bit ambitious there.
And then if I want to do more, I do like a half.
Like a half of avocado. Cool. And then you're saying with movies, and is that like any movie? Do you just turn on the TV? Oh, this movie's on. Is that like you going on Netflix, or is there like specific movies that you're like, this one is like my?
It's usually specific. It's usually any movie, but lately TV series are nice because they're not as long. You can one TV series you can get through in 45 minutes or whatever.
If you're feeling ambitious, you can watch 12 of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Probably not the best before you have to compete, but
yeah.
Cool. Is there any TV series that you've been watching lately that you want to mention?
Yeah, I just started This Is Us, and it's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's pretty good.
Is it on Netflix?
It is.
It is. Okay.
I didn't realize it started in 2016.
Oh.
And I'm late to the gun, but it's a good one. You should try it.
I'll have to check it out. I'm bad for it because I know if I find a good one,
I know
I'm gonna get hooked.
I know.
Right? Like there's those ones that I can't do it. Like Game of Thrones, I can't do it because it's so long, and I'm gonna be like months of my life.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I was a huge 24 fan. You know the movie.
Yeah. I
24.
never watched it.
Oh, it was awesome. I watched every episode, every season.
Yeah,
it's good.
All right, let's jump into another question here. Do you have any memories that come to mind from the past season?
It's just this past season?
Yeah. Or any, like, if there's any big memories from a season that just, like, immediately come to your mind that were super inspiring or...
I guess I'll start from this season. To be honest, this last weekend at National Championships was probably most memorable, like in a positive way.
Yeah.
I definitely have memories of maybe not so good experiences, and those also can help you if you channel it the right way. But National Championships, the couple of routines I did that I felt good about, really helped my confidence going into this later half of the season. And as far as one in particular memory that I have, not this season, but like a couple seasons ago, in 2011, I had probably one of the best national championships I've ever had. I won the all-around, I won floor, I won pommel horse, and I was third on P-bars and high bar. And that was like my second year senior, and so that was a really good year for me, and so I like thinking about those past experiences.
It's cool that you also mentioned it's not just the successes that are important, but it's also those failures, because they are going to happen, whether that's a missed skill in your training, whether you miss it once or you miss it 20 times. Those failures are going to happen, and the reaction to that failure is going to kind of make or break how you move forwards. And I've had a lot of the guys come up here, and one of the other questions that I have is like, who inspires you in the gym? And a lot of the guys are saying Jackson Payne.
Oh yeah.
Which is super cool. But one of the things, because then I'll kind of pick and see like, what is it that, why are you inspired by him?
Yeah.
And they're always noticing whenever you're training, if you're taking a turn, if it's a good turn or if it's not a good turn, you're always just super mellow. Not a lot of emotion going on, right? You fall. I think I've seen you get frustrated like once, right? For that like one time. But most of the times it's like, okay, what did I do? Let's think about what just happened, and let's go up and let's take another turn. So it's super cool to see that you reflect that in looking at your competitions and looking at kind of what has happened in the past too. Let's go with another question. Is there anything that you have struggled with, skill-wise, competition-wise, or anything else in your life that you've overcome, or something that you're struggling with now?
Yeah, I mean, as frankly, as I get older and more experienced in gymnastics,
more wise.
I struggle with a little bit of mental game, with being nervous, with being, because the older you get, the more pressure, the more people the more expectation you have on yourself, and the more expectation others have on you, for Team Canada and whatnot, and so I've struggled with that for sure. The last couple of years, and it's been hard. I've been getting through it though. Like just this last weekend was a big up for me, and I really feel like I'm starting to get it under control. But as for, I can remember when I was really young, when I was probably between the ages of 12 and 14, my high bar was the worst thing ever. I hated it, and I struggled so much on it. Yeah. I could never do a dismount. I could never do a stoop shoot. Yeah. And my coach pushed me so hard, and every day I would stay hours behind because my coach would never let me go until I did a proper flyaway. Yeah. Never let me go because I couldn't do a proper stoop shoot, and that's something I struggle with lots. And every athlete will have those struggles, and it's just a matter of how you get through it and how you somehow conquer it. And it's difficult, but you find a way.
When you're looking back at struggling with high bar, what was it for you that helped you get past the dismount or get past that stoop shoot, that kind of like, okay, you know what, I'm not doing that good at this skill? What was it that led to you being able to do that skill? And like watching you on high bar now for the success that you've had there, what's kind of making the difference? Is it a mindset? Is it the training? Like, what do you find helps?
I think really what helped me was, I used to go home and like cry to my mom and be like, I'm so bad at high bar, like Liang's making me do this, and I'm staying so long, and one thing that she said to me that has always stuck with me is that she said, like, if Liang's making you do this, he obviously sees potential. Right. He obviously sees that you can get over this and that you can do all this stuff. And so I really tried to internalize that and realize that he's not doing this to just hurt me or break me. Yeah. But he's doing it because he believes in me. And as a young kid, that's really hard to kind of understand.
Yeah, man, you're not kidding.
And so once I finally understood that, I realized, okay, he must have confidence in me, so I should have confidence in myself. Yeah. And get through this stuff. And eventually, slowly things came together, and a lot of bad days, but I can't think of a day where it just clicked. But
just like the perseverance and discipline of coming back and trying again and trying again and trying again and trying to not get discouraged, and like you say, that perspective of knowing, hey, he sees potential. Right. There's a reason why we're doing what we're doing. It's not just because I can't get it, but because there's something more there. Yeah. Right? It's like, man, to see that when you're that young is just huge.
Yeah, I see it more now, but I did see it, just a tinkle of that as I was young, and I always wish that I had more of a brain when I was younger, because I feel like yeah, exactly. You would get through things so much easier and quicker.
What do you find now, if there's anything that you're having difficulties with? How do you approach it now that you're more maturing? Like, you've been training for how many years?
It's been almost 20 years.
20 years. So you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
So what do you find now helps you when you have something that's like, this is a tough skill, or I'm having troubles with this? What do you do?
Now, since I'm older and I can't do as many reps as I could when I was young. Yeah. It's a lot more of a patient game, especially if injuries come into play. You have to really be patient with your body, patient with your skill, and if this is where a coach and athlete relationship has to really mesh, because I think if Ben sees that I'm really struggling on this skill, but he thinks, no, I think you're close, like I think you got it, but I feel like I don't know if I'm ever gonna get this. Yeah. Like, feeding off your coach, feeding off that, or me saying, oh, I think I'm really close, or Ben's like, oh, let's switch this. Yeah. I'm like, no, I think I got this. And those things help you through those difficult times of maybe not getting a skill super quickly, or even an injury. You gotta just be patient and do what you can without hurting yourself.
Right. It sounds like you have to just be very true with your own disposition to know what works best with you. Yeah. Right? Because what works for you might not particularly work for someone else. And exactly. Your coach kind of has to know that, right? They can't push you in a way that's not going to motivate you correctly, because it's just not going to help you, right? Yeah. So I think the awareness of 20 years of training probably helps out a little bit. Yeah. Do you have anybody that inspires you? Yeah. Someone that comes to mind, a gymnast?
Of course, to be like within Canada, an athlete that inspired me when I was young was Adam Wong.
Sweet.
Totally. He was very kind to me. He was a really good mentor. He still is a mentor to me. He was a great gymnast. He's able to balance school and gym and life, and he's even helping me along that path right now, and he's I totally looked up to him when I was young, and wish that I could have went to an Olympic Games with him, but our paths just didn't mesh as well as we wanted to, and but also I totally look up to my last two coaches, Ben and Liang. They were amazing gymnasts, and they're great people and coaches. Right. And I have a lot of respect for them, for sure.
Awesome. What about on days when you find it hard to come into gym, or days when training is just not working? Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, you're finding it tough to be here, tough to train. What do you do to try to step into high performance when high performance isn't there?
That is tough. That is one of the toughest things, is day to day having that high performance mental thinking, and especially as you get older, every day you're not going to feel great.
Of course.
And there's times where you have to dig deep on how hard you want to work that day, if you really need to take that day easy. What helps me is just I try to think about, why am I here today? What can I do to make this day worth it? Even if it's like something super little, like even doing fast track, where I just need to work on some twisting, and that's not that hard, but or days where I'm feeling really good and you do tons of high bar or something like that. That's a really tough thing that I still work on these days, and but as long as you have, I think, the bigger picture in your mind, and you have you're able to think outside the box a little bit and really think the big perspective, and it helps you on day to day.
Man, that's huge, just to try to focus on those small successes.
Yeah.
And know that, like, hey, it's not the end of the world if this one thing isn't working out today. To not get caught up on that one thing, like maybe high bar just sucks today. Okay, is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? We can't change that. Let's go work on something else.
Yeah.
Right? If that's not working, let's go work on something else. And what was that thing that I can walk away from today being like, you know what? Okay, that was still good, even if these other three things weren't great. I still had a couple successes. Do you keep a journal or a diary to try to track this at all?
I have recently. I mean, like I said, when I was younger, it probably would have been better. But yes, I do have a journal that I occasionally, mostly with competitions, that I write down my success or failure or whatever on that competition, and I look back and think about what I can do to improve that, what I did that was well, and maybe keep that for next time. And so I would say journal it really helps to kind of write those things down and internalize it a little better.
And is that just like an open page that you're just kind of writing whatever you want onto, or is it more structured?
I just write. I think about what went first in the day, and I just write about how I felt, what I did wrong, what I just go through the day chronologically and just write notes, and I never really make I don't go through floor or palm rings. Well, I just go through the day basically.
So you don't have like a specific, oh, this is what happened on this event. It's just,
right.
Let's go through this. Let's what went well, what didn't go well.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any good books that you found have helped you?
There's this book called Mind Gym, I think. Mind Gym.
Mind Gym. Do you know the author?
Can't think of it off the top of my head.
Mind Gym.
Mind Gym.
Got it.
It's a white book, white softcover book with I think a sprinter is on it.
Okay.
Like a gray kind of silhouette of a sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
That one helped. I read that when I was in junior high.
Cool.
And tried to use some of the techniques that they taught in there, and I would say it's helped, a little bit. And the other book that I've read on mental toughness was, I don't know what the book is called, but he's actually a mental performance coach. He's not a psychologist or anything. He's this elite person coach, or I can't remember what he.
If you know what it is, or if you find it when you get home, just
I will. Yeah.
Send me a message.
Yeah, I have it on my desk actually.
Okay.
That was the most recent book that I read, and it talks about really what you can control, and really focusing on the things that you have control over, rather than the things that you have no control over.
Right.
And what puts you into that mental state to think about what you can control, right? And so what's that optimal mindset to know that these are the things I need to do. I'll do these things regardless of the outcome. I did my best. I did what I could do. So
cool. I'm sure lots of people will probably end up watching this. Is there anything you want to say, knowing that this is going to play at the banquet, to the other athletes that are going to be sitting in the crowd, or anything that you think else that you want to add?
Yeah, I would say to all the younger gymnasts out there is to keep working hard, keep listening to your coaches. Do your best every day. Every day counts, really, it does. And the biggest thing for me was to really look up to those older athletes that you find. Look up to the older athletes that you enjoy watching, and really put yourself, or think about yourself in those high positions, and one day you'll get there if you keep working hard. And the other thing I want to say actually is I really enjoy the atmosphere of, I can speak for the men's side. I really love the atmosphere of the men's side.
My camera might be dead.
Oh, okay.
We're going crazy.
Shoot, sorry.
No, that's good. Here, let me see if I can pop a new battery in here if you want to finish up what you were saying. Okay, sorry about that. Well, we're good now.
Okay.
So, talking to younger athletes.
Oh, right.
Anything else you wanted to say?
I did want to say, I wanted to talk about how, from the men's side perspective, I love the atmosphere that's in this gym. There's so much energy. The coaches have such a positive and collective good attitude, and there's like a brotherhood amongst the coaches, and I see so much support between all the athletes and the coaches. I think it's really important to keep that support amongst all the athletes, even if the young guys and the old guys, it really helps each other because you're competing for each other. Essentially, you're representing your club at these competitions, and I really like that about this new club that I'm at CGC, and I can kind of say that maybe I didn't feel that earlier in my career, but they really have a good attitude towards team building and using everyone's strengths to help everyone get better, and that's really important. So I enjoy that. And
you're selling shirts, yes?
Oh,
do you still have them?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Do you want to say what your website is? We can probably toss this in here.
Yeah, a little shout out to my JP shirts. All those younger athletes out there, definitely. I have all the sizes of youth shirts. Go on my website at www.jacksonpayne.ca and you can find a little link to order a t-shirt, or you can come to me directly. I'll hook you up, and I'm more than happy to do that, and I love all the support that I get anyways. So.
And what happens with the money, just to be clear? So if someone buys your shirt...
Good question. All that money goes straight towards anything that I do for training, competing, training camps with Gymnastics Canada. Many people don't know that Gymnastics Canada has been getting less and less funding, and so there's more things that are self-funded, and it's difficult to do that when training's so long and don't really have a part-time job.
Right.
And I'm also a student, and so just getting funds is become more difficult for me the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And so I got this small sponsorship from this printing company that gave me these shirts and printed off these cool shirts for me, and they're great quality, and I'm selling them for $25 per shirt, and like I said, all that money goes towards helping me train to get to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
It's awesome, man, because you're training, I can't even, how many hours a week?
Oh, I'm not depending on the gym and physio and rehab and doing morning training at other YMCA or gyms or WinSport.
Yeah.
It adds up, and my week is filled with what I can do to improve as a gymnast.
And then you're at school, you got a wife.
And I've got a wife, having a baby,
dude. Tons of stuff is happening.
And school, yeah.
Congrats, man, that's awesome.
I love any sport that I can get, and grateful for it.
Awesome. Let's end there. Thanks, Jackson, for coming up.
Thank you.
And I'll send this to you, or I'll give you a copy if you like it.